Quit worrying about it. Trust in the process. Give it 90 days. Compare your weight when you started to the end of those 90 days. And don't get overly fixated on your weight. Are you feeling better? Are your clothes fitting better? Sleep, joint pain? What are your body measurements? The weight is just one part of this journey. It's about your overall health getting better. Before we get into this, I'd like to take a quick look at fat. Remember, fat isn't solely about excess weight. You've heard the term TOFI. Those folks can have visceral fat, which is the worst kind to have. Being overweight doesn't necessarily equate to poor metabolic health either. Remember, your body wants to and needs to store fat for energy purposes. Weight loss can be challenging. Now, maybe we should just blame the old hunger hormones, ghrelin and leptin. Ghrelin stimulates the appetite, slows the metabolism, and promotes fat storage. But it can also affect sleep patterns and reward behaviors. Now, leptin informs your body when you're full and helps balance that food intake with fat reserves. Welcome to my channel. My name is Chad. I've been doing the carnivore diet for over 3.5 years. I've lost over 100 pounds. But let's get into it. It takes time. This is why I say give it 90 days. The first bit of weight loss is always water. Now, a lot of people lose this 8 pounds, 9 pounds right away and then slow down. A lot of times that is, again, just the water weight, and they feel, oh, I'm slowing down. So again, don't worry about that. Also, this 90 days gives you some time to dial in the fat-protein ratios that you need and getting over the keto flu. Salt and water intake, huge. Lipolysis, aka fat burning. Basically, studies have shown that increasing hydration leads to weight loss. So look up that word. Do a little research. It's kind of interesting to know. Drinking water also reduces your appetite while increasing the fat burning. You might have heard a lot of people say drink electrolytes, and I can agree with that. I just upped my salt intake and did fine without them. Again, your journey. Find what works for you. Of course, as we up that salt, you will need to kind of balance that out with water intake. But again, drinking water is healthy and good and will help with the fat burning, as crazy as that sounds. Now, your protein versus fat. The other thing that's funny is we got to strike this balance between protein and fat. Look up protein poisoning, rabbit starvation. You don't want too much protein. It is about the fatty meat. And too much protein can interfere with fat metabolism. The old 1 gram of fat to 1 gram of protein by weight is a good place to start to find your balance. Now, many of you have heard the term gluconeogenesis. Now, one thing to know about it, this process can also interfere with fat metabolism, which can in turn limit weight loss if you're eating too much protein. So that might be another thing to research a little deeper. Make sure you're eating enough fat and good fatty meats, even if you have to add butter or a few other things, tallow, to up that fat intake. If you're enjoying this, please hit that like button and notification bell to get this out to others. I'd appreciate it. One mistake I made, I think, was undereating a few times on purpose. I kind of thought, well, maybe I can hurry along my weight loss by just eating a little less, and that just backfires. Your body kind of goes into storage mode and you hit a stall. And of course, we don't want to overstuff ourselves if we're eating all this fatty meat, but calories still do count. I mean, if you're chowing down so much steak and then a bunch of pork rinds and a bunch of sour cream and then a whole bunch of butter, you can overeat on this diet. And a lot of people aren't used to eating this kind of nutrient-dense food in the amount that we do. So it might take a little while to find that balance. When it doesn't taste good, it's often your body saying enough. I found this to be quite true with myself. Now, this is a big one, probably going to step on toes. Food choices. I want to start with saying, I'm not saying you can never have these again, but let's get that weight off first. Let's get you out of this stall, and then think about it later on. Cut out the sweeteners. Cut out the pork rinds, cheese, too much dairy, all these other snack foods. I understand it's fun to have carnivore nachos or whatever other things, but can you really live on those? We know we can live on just meat, so we can live on ribeyes, but we probably couldn't really live healthy on pork rinds and sour cream. So kind of take that as a clue. And let's get through this weight stall and get on to our goal of weight loss. The other thing might be ditch the pork, ditch the chicken, even bacon, and let's just get down to some good ruminant meat and get through this stall, and then feel free to add those back in if you're doing well. I'm still going to say, if you need some of these little carnivore crutches, things to get you over that first 90 days and not fall off this diet, I'm fine if you have to have a few of them. But if you're in a stall, let's look long and hard about just pushing through and not having those. Remember, it's breaking those old habits and creating new ones. Let's talk about intermittent fasting. I did OMAD, and I think it worked really well for me, and I like that. That's a pretty good intermittent fasting of 24 hours. Now, you might want to do like an 8-hour window of eating, 2 MAD, and you're still having that 16 hours of fasting. Again, this is your journey, so find what you're comfortable with and what works for you. But this is also about getting through those stalls, so you might have to put yourself out and try a few other things. I've heard some people did a 48-hour fast, and it kind of kicked their body into that burning fat mode again, and they started on their journey. So that even might be something to try. The other one is stress management. Stress can impact weight loss. So find ways to reduce your stress in your life, like quit worrying about stalling, quit worrying about the fat loss on this journey. Trust the process, give it 90 days. Now, the physical activity, I definitely think we should be doing more of this. I didn't do enough, but I was still fairly active. It's much easier as you're losing weight to get more active. You can go outside more. You're going to have better energy. You're probably going to have better recovery. So I think this just kind of progresses right along with it. Just get out, walk, and move. Now, this is a huge one, and I see this all the time. People think, oh, I only need 5.5 hours sleep, 6 hours sleep, and I feel good. If you're trying to lose weight, get sleep. Get 8 hours. Research has shown that when dieters cut back on sleep, over just a 14-day period, the amount of fat they lost dropped by 55%, even though their calories stayed equal. They also felt hungrier, less satiated, and had less energy. So get 8 hours. Don't do the, oh, I'm okay on 5.5. I knew this going into my diet, and it's actually the main reason I bought an Apple Watch was to track my sleep. And it's been amazing the differences that I feel and notice when I would get proper sleep. So I'm pretty strong on this one. Now, if you've tried all these things we were just talking about, it might be time for medical consultation. You might have a thyroid or hormone issues, and you're going to want to talk to a doctor and get those checked out. Remember, weight is just one aspect of health. Focus on the broader picture. How do you feel? How are your clothes fitting? All these other things. Now, there are many reasons your weight can stall. Just have patience, trust in the process, and give it time. Try to get into just the meat, salt, water, get away from these carnivore snacks, and keep in mind that everybody's body responds differently. Men and women respond differently. Do what's best for you. Don't try to compare yourself to others. Your goals prioritize your health, not just your weight. And pretend you're Frodo carrying the ring. Your journey. I want to leave you with some good info. I like having a little something in my back pocket when I talk to people about the way we eat and why we do. Look up the meaning. Diseases of civilization. It's scientific evidence that has a correlation with the Western diet to acne, obesity, diabetes, heart disease, cancer, etc. And much of the world follows this Western diet. Again, it's just a fun bit of information to have in your back pocket when you talk to people that they might not have heard of. I hope you found this helpful, and if you did, please subscribe if you haven't, hit that notification bell and the like button. Leave a comment on what you'd like to hear about on this channel, and please share your journey below so others can read how many of us have had truly life-changing stories on the carnivore diet. Stay carnivorous, my friends, and ahoy ho. And you might want to check out this video, 1 year carnivore looking back.